Yeah, and our agent there, that guy's such a punk. It's like, I don't know why we put up with him. Why do we have him as an agent?
I don't know. I can't hear from him. I try to get hold of him. There's nothing. All of a sudden, he's calling in the middle of the shows. And he's always saying the same thing. Like, I've tuned him out. Even 3 weeks. Like I haven't even listened to him in the last 3 weeks. It's always the same thing.
I usually fall asleep when he starts talking to us in one of our pre-production meetings. Like, oh, we want more shows, more shows. It's like, yeah, you don't even know when our show is on. You keep calling during our recordings. Like,
does he even have a degree in business acumen? It's just like nothing but nonstop bullshit with this clown.
Well, nothing. And he keeps talking, oh, I'm going to take you guys to new markets. It's like, what? Like Newmarket, Ontario? Is that where you're going to take us? Is that the new market you're taking us into?
Oh, yeah. Big talk.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what a cesspool that place is. Cripes.
Oh, my God.
I was like, I drove through there one time. It was the longest week of my life.
Well, it's no wonder he was born there.
Oh, are we recording?
Oh.
Well. Welcome to another episode of the Body and Mind Sports Show. As always, I'm your host, The Mind, and Winby is my co-host, The Body.
Hello there.
Body, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mind.
Yeah, thanks. We should probably issue an apology, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should.
All right, let's see. We got a prepared statement here.
Already? Fantastic.
Yeah. So, yeah.
We'd just like to issue this heartfelt apology to our agent and everything we said about you. We're
sorry.
Frustrated. We're sorry. We were wrong at the time. We got carried. What's this word here? I can't read this.
Yeah, is that... I can't read that. Who wrote this?
I don't know. It might have been our agent.
Very sorry.
Seen this coming.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't say that.
Very sorry.
Very heartfelt apology.
Yeah, to family.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Didn't mean it.
Solid.
Here.
Yeah. I think we're good.
Okay. Hopefully don't get a call this show.
Well, that was awkward.
That was a little bit off. It was almost like an Ottawa Senator Uber ride.
Oh, good transition.
Oh, thank you.
That's how we can get out of this mess. Let's talk about someone else's. So the Ottawa Senators, they had their Uber-like incident happen this week. So to recap, for anyone that may have missed it, 7 Ottawa Senators. Basically, the biggest names in there would be Matt Duchene, defenseman Chabot, and also Weidman.
How many Senators?
7.
7?
7 Senators in one car, yeah.
I didn't realize there's that many.
Yeah, 7 Senators. It was like this big monster van that they're in.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So really, most of the talking was actually being... So those are kind of like the 3 big names. The other 4, whatever, some younger...
Literally along for the ride.
Yeah, literally along for the ride. Younger guys. Colin White was also there, defenseman. But really, most of the talk was just done by Weidman and Duchene, who are supposed to be team leaders. And what did they say during this cab ride?
Oh, there was plenty of goodness in this cab ride. They went on to slam their coach, especially their special teams coach. Was it Martin Raymond?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about how, was it last year were they last in power play?
This year.
Worst in power play and worst in PK?
And
I know
PK.
they're worst in PK this year.
Both. Worst in
yes.
both. Yeah.
So talking about... he may be the first coach to go worst in PK and power play in a calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about how in meetings they tune him out. The last time I even listened was 3 weeks ago. If I was even listening, was one of the thoughts in there or whatever.
Yep.
And I don't even listen to him anymore because I know we haven't changed anything. So I just go out and just keep doing what I do as along the lines of what one of them was saying. But the thoughts are kind of echoed through the ride. It was just absolute disrespect throughout.
So that's the thing. So it obviously sounded like players who were probably just frustrated, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess just blowing off some steam. And yeah, just basically talking, hateful work talk.
Yeah.
I hate my boss type thing. He's a fool, whatever, that sort of talk.
I mean, this is probably pretty normal talk in a sense. It's, I think, more a case of where they did it and the awareness thing.
Yeah, like the fact that you're basically in a cab, let's say, even, if it's an Uber car, but yeah, you're basically in a cab and in the public, so you never know if they're recording you or not. And even if they're not, they're still the cab driver, so he's hearing all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows they were Ottawa Senators because he even asked them. He's like, "Oh, what team you guys play for?" They said Ottawa Senators. So I know exactly who he's talking to, like members of the pro hockey team. So, so even the cab driver on his own could have just been like, "Hey, guess what the Senators were saying in my car last night?" Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just an ugly situation because, like, the main concern anyway, for me is just. How will their special teams coach and these players be able to reconcile and work together?
Yeah, I don't see it, because if you're a special teams coach, you're probably feeling defeated even talking to them. They don't respect you.
Right.
Obviously, the players don't respect them, so that's already done.
Yeah.
If you keep them around, it doesn't work out. If you fire them, you got the inmates from the asylum thing. Yeah, I just don't see any winners in this mess.
Yeah, this is one to see where this plays out. I know they're all saying the right things today. It's like, oh no, we've talked about it. It's an internal matter. We'll handle it internally. But yeah, I just don't see how you could possibly, like, basically question someone's ability the way they question their coach, and be able to have a good working relationship.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
Yeah, so...
Well, especially when they even were admitting they don't even pay attention during meetings.
Yeah, like, just total, like, tune them out, lack of respect, which is bad. Like, questioning, like, someone's ability and just having no respect for them, that's just a deadly combo there. Which is messed up because, for me, the Senators are actually doing better than I expected. Like, they're currently 5-6-3 after 14 games.
Which usually isn't great, but when you consider the disaster everyone expected from them, that's actually quite a surprisingly positive start for them.
Oh, and especially after the unbelievably nutty offseason they just finished having.
The Karlsson trade, the Eugene Melnyk stuff, and Ottawa's just hatred for him.
Yeah, it's just the entire team, city, country hates Eugene Melnyk, so it's like, that's unbelievable. Like, everyone hates the owner. Yeah, the trading away Karlsson because, yeah, him and Melnyk and whoever and the GM just couldn't get along. So they traded away their biggest star. Trading away Hoffman, even last season because of...
Hoffman's girlfriend or wife threatening Karlsson's wife or girlfriend or whoever and all that stuff.
One of Ottawa's, I think it was, assistant GM or whatever, that was caught for, like, domestic abuse or something like that. So, like, he got fired because of these allegations. So, like, it's been such a mess in Ottawa that, and even with the trades they made for both Hoffman and Karlsson, that didn't seem like they got enough for either.
No.
So, yeah, I was not expecting even for them to be even close to 500.
And then what you mentioned when they even tried to waive the team captain earlier this year.
Yeah, that's right. They even did that. So even despite that, they actually have gotten off to a pretty good start. So yeah, it was a real kick in the teeth because it's kind of like, just like I started to think, oh, this is actually kind of a surprise, good news story. Yeah, Ottawa, despite all the turmoil they just went through this off season, it's like literally 5 years worth of off season insanity done in one single off season, and yet their record is actually almost 500. So yeah, so I guess we'll have to follow the team now and see how this plays out.
If they keep winning, it makes you wonder if this is a team that just like thrives off dysfunction.
Yeah, maybe that's it. They have a pain fetish. They need pain to fuel them.
Time will tell. I have trouble picturing that, but you never know.
All right. Well, sticking with the theme of pain, a couple of coaches felt some pain recently.
One justifiably, the other not so much. I think we both agree on those.
Well, even the LA Kings.
Actually, no, because the team in front, no, I go both unjustifiable.
I think they're both unjustified. I think, like, LA Kings basically over the weekend fired Coach John Stevens.
They're basically trying to win with like a 1990s team in 2018.
Yeah. Big, huge, thuggish, slow team. playing in today's NHL where the 150-pound player actually thrives and isn't getting like concussed into
Oblivion.
into the closest hospital. So yeah, the Kings basically figured that, oh yeah, it's John Stevens' fault that they basically have an old, slow team that cannot compete in today's NHL, and they also lost their starting goalie.
Yeah, they built for 1997 instead of 27, or 1998 instead of 2018.
So it's obviously the coach's fault.
Yeah.
And of course, with the Blackhawks, yeah, thanks for coming out, Joel Quenneville. You only won 3 Stanley Cups. Not enough. Gone.
And something we talked about before the show earlier, and I hadn't even thought of it before I mentioned it. Talk about the Blackhawks core there quite frequently, and how they have salary cap issues around it. But really, you got to put that on management, and we'll actually tie more to management later when we talk about places Quenneville might go to in a bit. But Chicago, really, it's like you think at first, well, they got all this talent, you can understand the cap issues. Then you think, well, no, because Pittsburgh's never had these cap issues.
Yeah, that's a super good point, because, yeah, they have also 2 big-name stars in Malkin and Crosby, and they also have
Letang.
And Letang on defense.
And then for years they had Fleury's contract.
So just like Chicago had Duncan Keith and Corey Crawford. So yeah, really salary for salary. I don't think there's really great difference between the 2 teams.
No.
But yeah, you're right. That Pittsburgh always found a way to load up again, and you've never heard a single salary cap thing about them. And Chicago, it's been every season. So yeah, so it's definitely some mismanagement of the cap there. But that's the coach's fault, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because he's the money man.
Yeah.
So he's got to coach the team, motivate and inspire, come up with a game plan, and also manage the finances and be the cap general.
Yes.
Nice. Maybe he's doing marketing too. Maybe that's why another issue for them.
Oh, it could be.
Yeah. I guess selling out 20,000 seats every game just isn't enough either.
No.
Yeah. We want more.
Especially when you have a ticket cap for the lowest prices.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You got to deal with like your floor.
Floor.
Yes.
It's all about the floor. I'm sure. I know my jaw hit the floor when I heard that Quenneville got fired.
Yeah, likewise.
I know there were rumors last season about them thinking of this.
I dismissed it.
And I thought, that's insanity. That doesn't even make any sense at all. And yeah, all of a sudden, here we are.
And we talked about teams where we think he'd be a good fit before the show. You brought up Detroit.
Yeah, that's my number 1 draft pick for him to go to is Detroit.
I don't know if I see eye to eye on that, but I mean, it'd be a good move for them. Another one we both talked about was Florida, because his ex-GM, Dale Talon, is there.
Yep.
Talon, the guy who originally built the Hawks into a contender and was thanked by being let go.
Yeah.
They didn't have the cap issues when Talon was there.
No, they don't. No, they did not. And they don't have cap issues in Florida either.
No.
And they have built themselves a pretty good group of young guys in Florida.
They're massively underachieving right now.
They're massively underachieving. So yeah, so that's a team that right now, yeah, they're dead last in the Eastern Conference, 3-5-3 record.
And a definite working relationship between Talon and Quenneville.
And they have like a Hall of Fame goalie, Roberto Luongo, there. So obviously his time is now.
Yes.
You know, because he's like upper 30s. So I mean, he's got like whatever, I don't know, a year or 2 left, I would think. So yeah, so that Florida would be a team that would be ready for Quenneville today.
Plus, Quenneville's always worked really well with defensemen, and I think he'd be a real revelation for Aaron Ekblad.
Definitely. So yeah, I could see that because of the talent connection. I still like Detroit just because, again, here's a team that's like building with some good young guys. They've got some guys there they can build off of, and it's an original 6 team.
Like, I could see that being an attraction.
That, like, anytime you get to coach an original 6 team, no matter their condition, you have to go for it. Because There's only 6 of them.
That's why they're the original six.
There's literally only 6 of those teams, and it's a magical thing to be able to coach one of those. And so that's where I like Detroit. But yeah, Florida, Talon's relationship is good. Outside of that, there's no other team that really screams at me right now. Pretty much everybody else, has got their coaches. Like Philly is 500, but I don't know if they're ready to switch coaches again already. LA and St. Louis, I don't think that Quenneville would want anything to do with those teams.
No.
Like maybe St. Louis, since he coached there already before. I don't know if they have any kind of, if that plays
if anyone
anything,
there, yeah.
if that plays anything for him, like go back, unfinished business maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think St. Louis is that good a team anyway.
No, neither do I. And he won't look at the same thing he did. He won't look at O'Reilly as a cooler, but we do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, you got Ryan O'Reilly. He ain't going anywhere.
No.
So far, he's 3 for 3.
And I was saying the same about Duchesne,
Uh-huh.
and then it looked like he was going to prove me wrong. But in one Uber ride, he might have brought himself back to that status.
Yeah, I am now like on that Duchesne bandwagon. I was like driving that bandwagon pretty hard, and right now I think that thing just got driven into a tree.
Full speed.
Not feeling too good right now about being on that bandwagon.
Well, I'm usually the anti-Duchesne, but I'll say give him a chance anyways. I'll see how this turns out.
That's the thing. I guess we'll see how it plays out. And yeah, for the Kings and Blackhawks, Kings I don't expect anything.
No.
And Blackhawks, I don't expect any improvement here.
No. Well, I expect it to go downhill now.
That's the thing. Who knows? Like they got great players there, so maybe that'll be enough to still salvage, a possible playoff, place, just because they have so many good players. But who knows? But I don't. If they do it, it's not going to be because of their new coach.
No.
Because quite frankly, I think half the team is older than the new coach. He's 33. We talked some surprises in the good old NHL. The first one is WWE, Walk with Elias.
Man, Canucks off to a great start this year, especially with Elias Pettersson.
Yeah. I did not see this coming.
Well, actually, is it Elias or is it Elias? It's really Elias. We'll go with Elias.
Oh, no.
Elias.
It's Elias.
I'm going to walk
Vancouver's walking with Elias. And they're in 4th place right now in the Western Conference. And I don't think it's any coincidence that the Calgary Flames are in 2nd place, and they're also walking with Elias Lindholm.
It always pays to walk with Elias.
So any team that walks with Elias is reaping rewards and benefits.
Yes, they are.
And all the other teams are the ones that are getting the guitar over the head. So yeah, Vancouver, I know when we did our preview show that we both felt Vancouver was going to be better than expected.
But I think this is even better than our better one.
This is much better. I thought, they had a chance at 500. Figured 500 would be the best they could do. But somewhere around there.
I figured under 500, but a lot of close games and competitive games.
That's what we figured, yeah. But right now they're 9-6, and they're not just being close and competitive. They're actually crushing some teams. They have no defense. That's a bit of an issue. Mm-hmm. But they have plenty of offense to make up for it. So when they win big. And when they lose
big.
It's all about big.
Go big or go home.
That's what happens when you walk with Elias. They have Elias Pettersson. Great surprise so far. I think he's at point of game status right now. So, yeah, go Vancouver.
I think he might even be above point of game status right now.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually, yeah.
Especially with that 5-point effort.
Oh, yeah. It's like every other night. Other surprises. To the good, Montreal. Doing way better than we were expecting.
Surprised us. Surprised everyone in Montreal. Surprised everyone out of Montreal.
Yeah, this is a team that I didn't think that they would contend for the playoffs.
How many years in a row can you keep going with wingers as your number one center?
Well, that was the thing. Like they had a couple of good players there, but I figured it was all on Carey Price. If old Carey Price returned, then he'll almost like by himself drag this team kicking and screaming into a playoff spot. But I wasn't sure if even he alone could do this. And yet they're 8-4-2 and sitting in fifth place right now in the East. Islanders. That was another team. Right now they're in fourth.
Well, we talked about a couple things with them, a few things. We talked about Lamoriello and Trotz there. We talked about Bardell might still be okay as the number one center. Our concern was the goaltending.
Yep, that was the big concern. And right now, that is not a concern. They have one of the lowest goals against in the whole league.
Impressive.
So right now in the goal differential, they're actually plus 11. So their offense is actually doing the job, and their defense is even doing the job.
I'm even going to go one step further in this. The Toronto Maple Leafs, and this will come in the Islander discussion right away. We'll see where this kind of fits. But, early in the year, we talked about Lamoriello leaving Toronto, Mark Hunter leaving Toronto. We talked about on the show stuff we've talked about off the show, and I think we might have talked about on the show as well. Definitely off the show, we talked about Toronto's cap management situation with the Nylander thing, and if maybe Lamoriello, I don't know if we talked about it on the show or not, if maybe Lamoriello and even Mark Hunter weren't big on going after Tavares.
Yeah.
And, seeing the Islanders might be on par with the Leafs in a year or two, because I have faith in Lamoriello and Trotz rebuilding, and I'm wondering when the Leafs are going to start running into serious cap trouble if they're not running into it already.
Oh yeah, they're already running into it.
Yeah, with the Nylander situation, but then even other guys, I think.
Because the Leafs right now, they can't afford to pay William Nylander the $8 million a year he wants, and so far he's not budging. And the Leafs, in their arrogance, thought that they would just expect everyone not
to want to be part of this.
Yeah, everyone not named Austin Matthews and John Tavares to take a pay cut, and because they're going to be part of this magical multi-year Stanley Cup run. Major sarcasm there.
Oh, I know. I have a big grin people can't see right now.
And yeah, it's not happening. So they're already running into cap issues, whereas the Islanders, no cap issues whatsoever. They have more than enough money to pay all of their current rising stars, like Matthew Barzal there. And with Lou Lamoriello there, that the pipeline is only just beginning.
Yes.
They're going to be filling up with more young players.
Yes.
Because he knows talent. It's no accident that he built the Devils into a powerhouse, built Toronto into a powerhouse, and now the Islanders, they're 8-4-2, fourth in the East.
Yeah, everyone could say Shanahan, but no, it was Lamoriello.
It was Lamoriello. Yeah, it was Lou. Basically Brendan was just sitting at the feet of the master for that. So we'll see how Toronto sails without him. So far, so good. But right now, Islanders, they're not missing Tavares at all.
Nope.
And lastly, with the Edmonton Oilers, I guess a bit of a surprise anyway with the good old Edmonton Oilers.
Never seen a team with only two lines go this far. I think their third line's not even doing anything.
No,
it's basically McDavid line and the Draisaitl line, and
it's actually really, when you cut down to it, it's McDavid, it's Draisaitl, and now it's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins because he's playing with McDavid. So it's kind of really three guys that are doing
it's one pair and a guy on the second line.
Yeah. And
that might carry you to a great regular season, but after that, it's not carrying you far.
That's the thing. Cam Talbot is obviously playing, a little better. He's not being the sieve he was last year. And hopefully the defense in front of him is doing a slightly better job. So right now, Oilers are 8-5-1 in a playoff spot. But let's keep an eye on this.
Yeah, I think they can carry this through the season. It's a long way to go. There'll be some, some stretches where they have trouble, but everyone does. I think it might even carry you a round or two in the playoffs, especially with McDavid. But it has a limit. It can only carry you so far. It would still be an improvement from next year or from last year, and but that's best case scenario. That's if they even sustain that far.
Well, the words of Eminem keep coming into my head. The real Edmonton Oilers, please stand up.
Yes.
All right. Well, that is our NHL review. Taking our Uber Mobile to the next league. How about we go to the NBA?
Hey, fantastic.
Nothing crazy ever happens in the association.
Oh, no. Nothing.
Sea of tranquility over there. So first of all, let's just talk about the good old Toronto Raptors.
I'm glad I was wrong about them. I just had a bad gut feeling about that trade. Leonard's hurt right now, short term. I was starting to wonder if that might become an issue.
Yeah.
Right now, just missing a game or two, no big deal. Hopefully this doesn't start becoming a theme at times during the season.
Yep.
So far holding up there. Wasn't sure about the unproven guy, Nick Nurse, his coach, but it sounds like has a better approach, moving Ibaka to center to deal with like today's modern, more athletic NBA centers. Valanciunas off the bench. No, they've proven me wrong so far, and I'm very happy to see it.
Yeah, this is one that, like, on the surface, like I didn't mind the trade just because I totally agree with that Toronto had to do something after year of getting blown apart in the playoffs. Obviously, my issue was always that I thought their treatment of DeMar DeRozan was terrible.
Just the way they did it.
Telling him one thing one week and then doing the exact opposite the very next week. I thought it was kind of like a scummy move by Masai Ujiri there. But on the whole, getting a guy like Kawhi Leonard, sure. It's like, why not? Like, give it a shot. Like, it hasn't worked up until now, so sure, change it up, give it a shot. But yeah, boy, has it ever worked. Far better. Like, I thought it was like taking away the emotional, treatment of DeRozan. That, yeah, I thought that this had the potential to make a difference since you're bringing in a guy who's so good defensively. That's a new dimension.
Well, two guys, because Green, too. He's also all NBA defender previously.
That's the thing. So you're bringing in like definitely a more defensive dimension to this team that hasn't really had it.
And championship leadership.
Yeah. So far it's worked out because, Serge Ibaka, it's like a brand new player just showed up.
Well, especially moving from forward to center, I thought that did him a world of good.
Yeah. It's been a great idea. And even Valanciunas, like, he seems to be far more impactful this year than I've ever seen him before. So far so good. Good on the Raptors. 10-1, leading the East. Another team, Milwaukee. You like them?
Man, they're leading. They're up there too. They even beat Toronto this week.
Number 2 in the East.
We'll see how far this carries on, but you can't argue the results so far.
I guess the concern is, do they have anything else besides the Greek Freak?
Yeah, they have. Oh, he escaped my name. I gotta look for him. I really like their one point guard there.
It's not Eric Bledsoe.
No, not him. The other one.
Brogdon?
Yes.
Okay.
Huge fan of Brogdon.
Okay.
Smart, tough player. Really smart, tough. No. Very, extremely underrated player, I think. Big time Brogdon fan.
He obviously is, because I didn't rate him at all.
There you go.
Okay, so you figure Brogdon...
Not a star guy, but a really good player to have on your team.
So a good support guy for Antetokounmpo.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, it's working, because there's no way that you get to, like, second place in the East with an 8-1 record.
When Brogdon
on the shoulders, just... Well, I can't say that, because LeBron did that.
Yeah, Brogdon's one of those guys. I think he came in the league like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
As a pretty young guy. And I think they said he already had the poise of a veteran at the age of like 19 or 20.
That's impressive.
So he's not one of these flashy guys you hear about, but I'd take him over a lot of flashy guys.
I'll say this, the Greek Freak is definitely living up to the hype, though, because he's so far started the season averaging 26 points a game and 13 rebounds a game.
Ooh, what type of year is, and that would make him...
Not bad.
That makes him maybe the best player in the conference with LeBron gone.
Oh, yeah.
Because Kawhi Leonard's having, I'm sure, a great year, but give me the Greek Freak or
That's
Kawhi.
a pretty phenomenal start.
By the way, what are Brogdon's stats? They're probably nothing flashy, but I'm just kind of curious. Brogdon and Bledsoe, because Bledsoe gives you another skill guy to go with those two, right?
Yeah, Bledsoe's okay. As a Suns fan, I kind of feel angry towards him.
Mm-hmm. Actually, what's Brogdon's year looking like so far?
So far, so good. Nothing too outrageous.
I wouldn't expect it to be.
Yeah, he's averaging 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing.
He's one of those guys that's more the intangibles, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I say, you expect him to be a good support guy, and that's exactly what he's been so far.
Mm-hmm.
Just a good support guy. And basically, the way Antetokounmpo is playing is just get out of his way.
Pretty much. And get him the ball.
Get him the ball. Didn't somebody say once, give me the damn ball?
Yes, give me the
Just get him the damn ball. So that's good old Milwaukee. So good things, which is good. Nice to see a little bit of change of the guard in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of change of the guard, the Nuggets. There's another team that's doing well.
Top 3 defensive team. You usually think of them as a run and gun operation.
Mm-hmm.
Off to a great start so far.
9-1. 9-1 in the evil, hateful Western Conference.
Not an easy place to get off that kind of start.
No.
I mean, it's never easy anywhere, even the East, but really East, West, keep in perspective, that 9-1 is much more impressive than 9-1 in the East.
So right now, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, I guess, leading this team.
Fantastic.
Murray averaging 19 points a game, Jokic 10 rebounds and 7 assists. So the big man doing the job. Yeah, you're talking about athletic centers. There's another one.
Mm-hmm.
So Denver.
And you look, your leading scorer has 19 a game, so you're not talking Steph Curry numbers. This is just a really good all-around team problem.
Yeah.
From the looks of it.
Yeah, exactly. Nuggets. So on the last team that we wanted to highlight on the good side, the one, the only, the Portland Trailblazers.
Yes.
The other team from We the North.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, we don't have Golden State here, but that's like such an obvious thing. It's not even worth covering. We're talking more of the surprise good.
Oh, yeah, no. The Golden State is a video game. That's not a real team.
No, that's a great description. That is an epic description.
But yeah, you mentioned Portland, and yeah, I expected that they would do well, just because they have like 3 great players on this team.
Mm-hmm.
With Damian Lillard,
McCallum,
Lillard. Never know that guy's name. It's too many L's. I can't deal with a name like that. I call him Damian from now on.
Stressing you out?
It's stressing me out. It's too many L's. I can't pronounce it. It's making tongue-tying me. Lillard. And also C.J. McCowan and Yusuf Nurkic there at center.
Mm-hmm.
So
great trio.
Yeah, it's a great trio. Lillard leading the team with 28 points a game and also 6 assists, and Nurkic 10 rebounds per game so far.
Whew, that's impressive.
So yeah, so that's a fearsome trio, and they're young and just going to keep getting better.
Yes.
7-3 right now, the Portland Trail Blazers, but we're expecting much bigger things here.
Number 1 in our hearts.
Nice. I like it. Speaking from going from number 1 to number last, how about we look at some of the garbage in the association?
Oh, there's plenty of garbage. Every league has plenty of garbage.
Well, how about we start with the Timberwolves?
Oh.
There's some internal fighting going on here.
Jimmy Butler wants out.
Fight.
Jimmy Butler wants out.
I'm going to fight you.
Good. Jimmy Butler may be justified in wanting out.
Yeah, so you brought up an interesting point here.
Yeah, I read an article earlier, and it was talking about how Butler's a max effort guy because he had the scratch and claws way in the league. and he's not happy with the effort of Towns, and I guess Andrew Wiggins as well. And maybe those guys don't respond well to the type of leader Butler is, because he's a my way or the highway guy. So I think there may be one of two routes to go here. And I don't think Butler's going to work out with Towns and Wiggins anyways. But one, you may have to get rid of Butler and get a new coach instead of Thibodeau, because he's more of an old school coach in a sense. Wiggins and Towns, like, here's the thing. Last year when Lonzo Ball came in the league, we all knew he was a problem as a defender.
Right.
When Towns and Wiggins came in the league, Wiggins was said to be athletic enough to be a premier defender. There's no reason he shouldn't be a premier defender. And as you mentioned last year, when he got his big money contract, he even went down offensively. Right? Towns played at Kentucky in college, where Calipari always brings in these one-and-dones, but to get your playing time, he demands defense. Towns is athletic enough, and he had to play defense under Calipari. But yet, neither Towns or Wiggins is playing defense in the NBA once they started getting paid. Which means they either have a coach who can't relate to them and motivate them, or they just don't care.
They just don't have that same will and drive.
No, all skill, no will.
They got paid. Now it's time to relax.
So it might be one of these things. They might need a coach that relates to them better to motivate them, which either way, Butler is not going to work out there. But maybe if they have like a more personable coach, that might motivate them to be more of what they can be. The Wiggins sinking after the big money contract kind of concerns me.
Yeah.
Or the possibility is these guys just went lazy after they were paid and wanted offense and stats. In which case, a guy who really wants to win like Butler, he's not going to be able to deal with these guys in any way, shape, or form. So either way, Butler's justified for wanting out, I think. And in Minnesota, one of two things. They either need another coach who could relate to those players better, or maybe they're just never going to win with those guys. They'll always have these all-star players, but they're never going to win because the guys don't have the will.
Fair comment, because we've seen that before in all sports, no matter what. That just having an all-star team, a team of all-star players, does not guarantee you success.
No, your best players have to be your leaders.
Yeah, so you definitely need a mix, and it definitely looks like the mix in Minnesota is just not right.
No.
Despite some individual talent. Yeah. Speaking of a team of mixture of talent, we mentioned this when we were previewing the NBA season, the Lakers. They've put together quite the motley crew around LeBron James.
We got youngsters and extreme veterans and...
Yeah, guys who wear watches in their ankles. We got everything.
Was that Lance Stevenson? Which one's the one with the watch in the ankle?
I think it's him.
Actually, it was funny. I always forgot. I had the quote in front of me from a few weeks ago, and I was trying to remember which player it was. And once you brought up the watch in the ankle, yeah, it was the Lance Stevenson quote about finding a new balance.
Yeah, finding a new balance. That's right. All about balance.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just finding a new balance. It's the new catchphrase. I don't have swag. I just have feng shui. I'm not cool. I'm just balance. It's if you see anyone with a watch on their leg, yeah, there's what.
It's incredible.
I don't have swag. I have feng shui.
So right now, the Lakers are 4-6. There's already talk that the coach is on the hot seat. What happened here?
Well, one of the things, Walton came from Golden State. He's about that 3-point game in that. Guess what the Lakers can't do?
They can't shoot threes.
No, they can't.
I could have told them that.
Bad fit for Walton there.
Yep. That is the ultimate square hole, round peg or whatever. Yeah, and it's amazing when you look at basically the team leaders as well on the Lakers. Team leader for points, 27, LeBron James.
Yes.
Team leader for rebounds, 7, LeBron James. Team leaders for assists, 8. Guess who?
Hey, would it be LeBron James?
You're right. Ding, 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 ding.
And he used to hear a lot about Kyle Kuzma last year. He's not going to put up LeBron numbers, but I'm sure he's not playing the way he did last year. I think he's coming off the bench. I'm not sure if he still is. So you're stunting his development. Yeah, Yeah, like they have these young players and they have guys like Rondo and Stevenson and McGee. It's almost like they don't know whether they want to be a veteran team or a young team.
It's true.
It's like they put themselves in a no man's land.
Yeah, they are. It's kind of like, it definitely is this kind of weird thing where it's like, win now because you do have LeBron, and he's like 35, I think we said.
34. And
34, yeah.
And you like to have a mix of youth and veterans, but this seems too extreme.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the goofy thing there is yeah, it's kind of like they have LeBron and then everybody else, whatever. It's like token veterans almost.
Yes.
Maybe they're all LeBron's buddies. Maybe that's the way it's working out. But yeah, like I know when we previewed, we didn't really expect too much out of the Lakers.
No.
So we figured there's a lot more hype than substance here, and so far we're being proven right once again.
Yes.
More garbage. The Rockets. So far, they've been stumbling as we feared they might due to the.
And they're bouncing back a bit, but I think they'll max out the Carmelo Anthony cooler effect.
Yeah, the cooler effect is in full swing right now.
Oh yeah.
4-5, which I didn't think the Rockets would be 4-5.
Didn't they start off with like a ridiculous win-loss record last year? Like off the charts,
year?
Like they were even hotter in Golden State early in the year. Like they were ridiculous early in the year.
Oh yeah, they were. Yeah, this season, like now, I think they're starting to win a few games.
Mm-hmm.
But still, the fact that they're under 500 is just, I don't know, unspeakable, unthinkable, unquestionable, unconscionable. Some other unthings I can't think of.
It's unbelievable.
Ooh, look at you go. So at least with this team,
undesirable if you're in Houston.
Ooh, undesirable. I like it.
Undesirable.
Having the cooler Carmelo is undesirable.
Wins are becoming more unattainable.
Ooh, good one. We're on a roll now.
We are unabashed in our criticism of Carmelo.
And you're unstoppable right now.
It's unreal.
It's incomprehensible.
It's getting to be unconscionable.
I'm starting to get uncomfortable. How about we move to the next team then?
Sounds good.
We believe that the Rockets will break out of this funk and become their old selves.
To an extent.
How about Cleveland? They're 1-9.
How about Cleveland?
And you know what? An interesting comparison between them and the LA LeBrons. Because LA, the team leader for all three major categories is LeBron James. When we look at the team he just left, Cleveland, he left behind Kevin Love and friends.
Kevin Love and friends. That's a great way to describe it.
Guess who's the team leader for all three of the major categories in Cleveland?
Would it be Kevin Love and no friends?
Well, leading the team with 19 points a game.
Kevin Love.
Leading the team with rebounds at 13.5.
Kevin Love.
And leading the team with 3.5 assists.
Kevin Love.
Hey, you got it all right.
Who's even setting up for those 3.5 assists?
No one. There is no
one.
one.
Passing it to himself.
He's pretty much passing it to himself. He throws the ball at the backboard, catches his own
Gets
rebound.
the rebound and the assist.
And the assist. He is his own alley-oop.
Any Cleveland Cavaliers scoring play, Kevin Love is his own triple single.
That's exactly right. He's his own triple single. And realistically, like when you have a player, what's his face there, who can't even keep score?
J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith. Like he's not even playing. Like he's actually been inactive for the odd game.
Well, he should be.
Coach's decision.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised he's even on the roster. He couldn't even keep it together when LeBron was there.
And that's the thing.
Talking to like a player on the sideline, we should be playing defense 2 years ago.
And I
would have just bought him out.
That's what I was thinking. It's like how can you have this guy on the team if you can't even trust him to know the score of the game, to know the situation you're in, like it's like, oh, it's a one-time thing. You know what? That was a pretty big one-time thing.
That should be a no-time thing.
Yeah, that should be a no-time thing. This is the NBA playoffs, like the finals. Like, come on, man.
Sometimes they just aren't one-time things.
No.
That's not a one-time thing.
When you forget the score against the Golden State Warriors, and you basically cost your team a victory against the unbeatable team, that's not a good sign.
It's a one-time thing, though.
One-time thing. Well, how about, speaking of one time, how about the Wizards? They're also doing terrible. Terrible.
They are.
2-7. I think this is a surprise. Do you think this is a surprise?
I do. I don't have big expectations for this team, but a lot better than 2-7.
Well, it seems mad to me that a team that has John Wall, Bradley Beal, and Dwight Howard is this bad. Like, I know Dwight Howard is like so flaky and he plays kind of when he decides he wants to play.
But when Howard's replaced, what, Gorbat or whatever?
He placed the Gortat.
Gortat, yeah, I got it wrong.
Yeah. I mean, at all levels.
That still shouldn't be that big a move down.
Well, it's like Marcin Gortat is a good player, but at every skill level, though, Dwight Howard is better.
Well, at every skill level.
At everything.
But at actually performing on the court, Gortat's better.
That's the thing. Like, Gortat, his mind is always in the game, and he's always putting out maximum effort every game.
But it still shouldn't be that huge a difference in the one loss going to that.
That's the thing. Like, it should have been a pretty fair replacement. But, yeah, but obviously not. Because it's not working. Like, despite the talent of Wall and Beal, who really, those two guys alone should be enough to power this team to near the top of this conference.
Well, it should be the best guard combination in the East.
That's right.
Maybe second in the league behind Curry and Thompson.
Is that the issue then, that all their strength is in the guards and they don't really have any forward to strike fear in the hearts of men?
It could be one of two things. It could be that, or because I've heard talk about, but I don't know how accurate it is, or just whispers. How well do Wall and Beal actually get along?
That I could not say. Yeah, who knows? Maybe that's what they need to do, is break up one of these two guys, trade one for a forward, and kind of mix up the team a little bit. Because, yeah, both guys are, I don't know, it's mind-blowing to me. They're astounding talents. And even last year in the playoffs, when they went up against the Raptors, like, there was a couple of games in which it looked like, oh dear, like the Wizards could actually eliminate the Raptors right here and now. Again, yeah. And then they didn't. Like, the Raptors managed to get it through, but it was looking dicey there because those two guys, Beal and Wall, were running the Raptors around. So yeah, this team.
And they still have Otto Porter as a decent player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this team should be much better.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if there's truth to the Wall-Beal thing. It could be just speculation by people. Yeah, I don't know why this team isn't much better.
Yeah. It must be that. It must be you're just heavy on guard and really nothing else.
Mind you, it's been the same team for a few years. Maybe it's like the Toronto thing where they need to make a move. But the opposite was they never did shake it up. And
right.
This is where they are now.
And that's where they are, yeah. So if I would imagine if this record continues, like 10 games from now, I would imagine they're going to do something drastic. Because they have to, because you're kind of wasting away the careers of two really good players like this. Yeah. So that is that for our look at the NBA. And you've been listening to another episode of the Body and Mind Podcast.